was like, you want to use it?
My shit's still in the closet.
So I started cutting hair in about 1995, something like that. I was going to school and I was working at Express Limited. And I ran out of money for school. I was living with my grandparents over on St. Mark's Avenue. And then one day my manager said something about the earring in my ear, something like that, and I quit on the spot. I was just frustrated. And then I went home or whatever, and I was thinking about what I was going to do. I really got inspired by this one place called Knapp's. And there was this guy named Bill Lester, his name's Adamoto Mandela now. He really inspired me to cut hair. It was really him. And the fact that they had a black barbershop. And this was the days of the Gumby and all these different type of haircuts. And Malcolm Jamal Warner used to go and get his haircut from there. So I picked up the clippers and I started cutting people's hair from the block, all the young brothers I played ball with and stuff like that. I was cutting hair without a license. In my grandmother's house, my grandmother and my grandfather's house, they allowed me to cut hair up there, which was like, I couldn't believe it. My grandparents are really like the catalyst. They tried to help me as much as they could. And yeah, so really a lot of it has to do with them. I did end up going to school. Then I started working in Queens. And then from Queens, I started working in Brooklyn. And my first job was at this place called Loose Ends on Flatbush Avenue. To me, they were like my second family. It was the first time where I really got support for what I was doing, like real support. Somebody's telling me, yo, Hameen, do this. Or even if they didn't like what I did and they chastised me, it still taught me. And I worked at this place called Black Roots. Black Roots was kind of like really like a big deal. Like it was like a household name after a while. And from there, I started to meet people and then I started getting freelance work. This part of my life is one of the best versions that I've seen. When you think about, like totally, there were times when I had a dope body and I was working out and I was in great shape, but I didn't have that much money. Then there were times I had money, but I wasn't really taking care of myself. And through all that, I like made it through, and like right now, I just like this version of myself. Yeah, I'm not virile and strong like I used to be and dunk the basketball, but I can still play the game. The first time I ever did someone's hair for a play, one of my boys, he did this thing called the meeting. He got his hair cut like Martin Luther King, and a brother he brought to me got his hair cut and colored like Malcolm X. And it was at the Paul Robeson Theater on Green Avenue. And it was my first time looking at my own work on stage, and I was sitting there blown away. To go from that to now on Broadway in 3 shows was just like, I don't even know what to say. I'm working on A Strange Loop, Into the Woods, and the piano lesson with Samuel Jackson and Denzel Washington's son, John David. So Strange Loop is my, like, I just love those guys. When they won the Tony, and I called one of the makeup artists and I was like, yo, y'all won, like, congratulations. They was like, what are you talking about? You won too. I said, what? I won a Tony? They performed for the Tonys. 2 of the guys were up for nominations, and the show was up for Best New Musical. And they asked me to cut their hair for the show. I saw them performing, that shit was bugging me out. I was just like, my mind was blown because my work was being shown like that. You know, it was just like a dope feeling. Lately, I've been manifesting that I wanted to do something else. I like working in the studio, I like having my own thing, but I also have been doing this for a while, and I kind of wanted to branch out and meet new people and be inspired by different people and different things. And then this came up. So one day I went to this thing called Stoop Stories. And what they were doing, they was telling a story, everybody was telling stories about things that happened in their life. I see this guy there, he's cutting hair, and he's telling a story about how he started cutting hair. I was like, oh, okay, he's cool, whatever. So then I go online on Instagram, and I see some of my clients going to this guy. So I look, and it's him. So he got a building in East New York. He was looking for barbers. So I was like, oh, let me hit this guy up and see what he's talking about, you know. We ended up talking on the phone for like half hour, 45 minutes. The guy come from the same place I come from, East New York. He grew up the same way with drugs, all that craziness. Him and I are talking. I says, yeah, man, I don't like East New York. I got a lot of trauma. And he goes, listen, man, they're coming. They're taking over our neighborhood. We can't allow them to come without trying to come ourselves and make it better. And when he said that to me, I was like, wow, he's right. So I had a bond with him. But for me, it was like a bond, just that little bit. Then I saw him at my friend's funeral. You said, what's up? And then that was it. And then he hits me up and he says, yo, do you want a job cutting hair on Broadway, at a Broadway musical? So I go, yeah. He gives them my number. I speak to the lady. The lady asks me to come in. I go in, and she hires me on the spot. I'm in her studio, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is really happening. When I finally got the job, I was like, I manifested this, right? This is what I asked for. It was perfect. That way I don't have to be in a salon. I don't have to work with a bunch of people in that way. You know, I like working personable like that. So then I did my first job. It was a strange loop. And my first day, I wasn't really nervous. I'm at the time in my life now where I know my job. You know what I'm saying? I can't get rattled anymore because I know what I'm doing. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to know I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to deal with it accordingly. But I have to go back a little bit, and I did call the guy, and I asked him, I said, yo, thank you, man. I said, what made you think of me? Like, we don't even know each other that well. And he goes, Hameen. He said, one thing I know about you, he said, you care. He said, you care, and I know you're professional, and you were the first person I thought about. And I was like, wow, okay. A Strange Loop, I loved them first because they were my first, and the guys and the story and how everybody is on Barber Day, how everybody comes through and how everybody is who they are, and they love me because they know I'm professional, I'm on time, I don't lollygag. I have them out I have them out of the chair in an appropriate time. Everything's scheduled on Broadway. Boom, 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 like that. So you gotta be on schedule. And Into the Woods I like because it's different nationalities. It's black, it's white, it's Latin, all different hair texture. And Hameen can do them all. So I'm good with my scissors, I'm good with clippers, all that, you know. And then piano lesson, I don't even know what to say. That's probably my favorite show because the dope men that's on it. Powerful, dope, talented men. Everybody from Samuel Jackson, JD, Michael Potts. And then I got a Trey Barber. He gave me a card for opening night. The words were just amazing. And because first I thought he would just give me a tip for just cutting hair. But no, he gave me something better than a tip. He gave me words that made me go, that kind of hit me. It was like, it was my first gift from an actor. It was just, I almost cried. I had to calm myself down. It says, Hameen, it's my great honor working with you on this piece. Thank you so much for the work you do. It's elevated us in ways that stretch beyond our reach. Then he says, the strength of God can move mountains, August Wilson. And it's Trey Barber. I just think it was dope. It was just like, I appreciate it. He made me feel like I was really part of the show, you know? So, and those guys really, they trust me. They're like, okay, Hameen, do what you want. Or whatever you say, Hameen, it's okay, you know? So, those guys trust me. And I'm not acting like it's that big of a deal, but it kind of is. And I think I don't let myself get too wide-eyed about it. Because for one, it can be taken from me like that. That's number one. It's just like, I'm just a regular guy from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? One of the actors from the piano lesson, he said, nah, I mean, if you wasn't special, you wouldn't be here.
I love Brooklyn. For one, it's my home. My pops, my moms were born in Brooklyn, and being in Brooklyn has shaped me in who I am. You know, the good, the bad. I watched Brooklyn change. A lot of it for good, a lot of it for not so good. But still my home. I love it. I actually couldn't see myself really living anywhere else. You know, maybe when I get older, but I will always want to have a place here. Like, the most unbelievable people live here. I know one time I was at I walked into this place called Moe's. It was down on Lafayette, Clinton Hill, Fort Greene. And I walked in, and one of my friends said she saw me, and she was like, look at this Brooklyn dude. She just knew I was from Brooklyn. I guess my whole swag, how I was and everything. But I took it as a compliment. I always was like, not like everybody else, you know. I always moved a little differently, and it was always hard. There were times I felt like I needed to conform, and I didn't, because I wanted to be an individual, and I didn't want someone telling me what I can't be. And I'm proud that I opened myself up to learning new things. I'm proud of my endurance, how I kept going, how I keep moving, how I learned from my mistakes, that I know I'm not done, that me working on Broadway and working on these shows and meeting Samuel Jackson and all these other great people, it's just part of the journey, and that it's not over. Angela Bassett, Robert De Niro, Woody Harrelson. J. Cole has this song on. It's called Love Yours, right? And what he's basically saying is, somebody's life is no better than yours, and your life is no better than anyone else's. And you have to understand the process of the life that you're trying to achieve. That it's not going to be there. You're not going to get there quickly all the time. But what you have to do is accept that you're going to have to work hard. You got to have to accept it. And I think you also have to be blessed to have people who care about you, who understand you, who have patience. You have to be blessed with that. And you have to be blessed. You have to be patient with your own self. Like, my mother always told me that God would look out for me. She always told me that. So I always believed that. Like, even if I went through hard times, I used to be like, God, this is just a test. God will get me through this. And that's what I always believed, and that's how I've been living my life. Even when I went through real hard times, depression, not having a place to live and all that, I just kept cutting hair was like it got me through a lot of hard times. And I always just kept believing in myself. Even when I didn't believe myself, I went through not believing, and then I got back on that horse, and I started believing in myself again.
Because even to this day, my confidence isn't always there, because you're always learning something new. There's always new texture or something, or how a person hair lays this way, or especially with black hair, you don't know. There's all different types of textures within one head. So I'm confident, but I'm always willing to learn, which keeps me keep me awake, keep me aware of what I'm doing, which I'm cool with, because I'm always willing to learn. And when I fear something, I like to face it. I don't like to run away from my fears. I like to face my fears. So my confidence is high, but you can always learn. And when you learn new things, your confidence isn't always the greatest. As long as it's not always at the highest, but you can get through it.
So compared to where I was and where I am now, creatively, you can't tell me that I'm not growing, that I don't do great work. Like, you can't tell me that. My purpose in life is to make sure my people know that they're beautiful. That like the black women know with their own hair that they're beautiful with their own hair. That I can give them great customer service and let them know that they're giving me their hard-earned money and it's not for nothing. That I really care, that I'm gonna do a good job. Yeah, take care of my people and let them know how beautiful they are. That's my purpose.